Hey there, my amazing engineers. How are you? Have you been able to gather materials for our projects today? Ooh, I can hear how excited you all are. That's so awesome. Yesterday, I shared that I had modified or changed my shadow puppet box so it could be more interactive. And I wrote down my question so we could have it for a reference. It is, how can we use force, light, and different materials to make an interactive shadow puppet theater? And yesterday, we also had determined that we could use the pushes and pulls to make the rocket ship move. Well, engineers, that means that we have a lot of work to do. We will not need all of our materials today, so let me show you what you'll need. You'll need the flattened paper towel roll, some string, tape, a toy car, and a rocket shadow puppet, if you have one ready. Let me make sure that I have all my materials. Paper towel roll, string, tape, car, rocket. Oh, you'll also need some scissors. Scissors. Great, so I think that I have everything I need now. So let's observe the model shadow box that I have. And I mentioned that we would focus on forces today. So while we're observing me move the car, try to determine if I'm pushing or pulling. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna make it move. The rocket goes this way. Now it goes that way. Let's force it to move again. All right, so what do you think, engineers? Was I pushing or pulling on the string to make the car move? That's right, I pulled. But how is this different from when we made our hill? Exactly, this doesn't have any incline. It's not a hill at all. And I think that's actually what makes this a little more challenging. Now, we could push the car with our fingers back and forth, but let me turn on my light source and show you what happens when I use my hand. See? What happens when I use my hand? Yes, you're all right. It messes up how my shadows look on the other side. So today, we will only be making the track for a rocket ship. On Friday, we'll attach it to the cereal box stages. But engineers, let's look at what we want to make and what we have. If we start with the paper towel roll, what will we have to do first? So let's look at this one and this one. We need to cut it a little bit more. So make sure to keep all the pieces of it because we'll be reusing some of them. So let's see, this one has short edges, so I should make mine have short edges. So scientists, I already cut my slit down the middle and flattened it. Now I gotta cut down the edges. So don't throw away these strips that come off. All right, so mine looks a lot more like the model one. How about yours? Great, well, let's set up the next part. We will need to cut down some of the extra paper towel roll. Let's cut them to about 2 inches long, so about 4 fingers. 1, 2, I'm gonna cut. And we need 2 pieces like that. So I'm gonna put the other one so I don't have to measure again. All right, then you're gonna just fold them in half. And pay attention to this part, because we're gonna make little bent legs so it can stand up. This is gonna hold the string and stop the car from continuing. Watch me do one and do the other with me. So we fold in half. I like to get edge to edge. Two stoppers. All right, awesome job. Now we're gonna add a little bit of tape and only at the top. We're not gonna completely close the piece of cardboard because if we do, our string won't be able to pass through. So we need to leave it a little open on the bottom. And this is where we need our tape. Only tape the top together. You can cut off the extra tape so it doesn't come out in your shadows. And just tape the top. And cut off any extra so it doesn't show up in our shadows. All right, so now we're gonna start putting these down on the track, but we're only gonna tape one side. So please do exactly as I do if you're following along. Let's move our model out of the way. So we're just gonna tape one side of these so that they can open up and fold up like this for now. So I'm gonna tape this side that's closer to me so that I can remember which side I did. Tape the side closer to me. Okay. So science engineers, you should be able to flap them like that. All right, so as you can see, I left one side open so I could lift it up. And we're gonna leave it like that for now. And we're gonna get our string attached to the car. I'm gonna show you how to do it this time, but don't cut your string quite yet. Just pull from the spool. Hey, that's using a force. All right, so you're gonna take the car and your string, and I like to start right underneath the tire there, kind of loop it in, and push it down. Push it down. Remember, you can always ask an adult for help with these. All right, and make sure it loops around. And you're gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. Loop under the tire. All right, once you have that, if you need an adult's help, you can have them tie a knot. But we wanna make sure that this pulls equally. There we go. Okay. So this is gonna be the way that we pull the car forward. Now, this is the tricky part, and we're going to have to measure how much string we'll need by putting it along the track. Then we'll add some more length from there. So what I mean is, you're gonna put your car all the way to the stopper. You're gonna see how much string you need, and then add maybe do that 2 times over. So you could fold like this, 1, 2, and then you cut here. And this will ensure that we have plenty of string. And it's better for it to be too long than too short, because then you could just trim it later. So in order for our car to get pulled the other way, we'll have to attach another string on the bottom. Watch how I attach it to the bottom of the car. So I have a little loop here, and we need to make sure that you have that on yours, because that's where you're gonna tie your knot. So that little loop that's there, I like to stick my finger so I can have a little point. And cut off any extra string from the knot so it doesn't get stuck under your car. Right. And then you're gonna do the same thing that you did with the last one, except pull it the other way, measure what you need, and by 2. 1, 2. Okay, all right. So like I said, if you need an adult's help, that's totally okay. Tying knots can be challenging, especially when they're this small. So the next part coming up is my favorite, because we could start to play around with the trap. We're going to put the string through the ends of the tape, or we're gonna put it through the ends and tape the other half down. Watch how I do it and follow along. It'll make it a little easier. So remember, these are already up. So I'm gonna put the string through and tape this side down. And don't do it too tight or else you won't be able to pull the string. There we go. All right, so let's try playing with it. Let's see what happens when we pull on each side. All right. Oh my gosh. So pull, it moves. I pull, it moves. So ask yourself some important engineer questions like, do I need to change anything? Or does it work every time? These questions will help you improve your track. Well, we're gonna have to stop here, engineers, but tomorrow we're gonna continue. I loved learning how we could apply our learning from the toy car and the hill to our project today. Tomorrow, we'll test different materials in order to make our light around the shadow look blue without using blue light bulbs. Please enjoy the rest of the show. I can't wait to learn again with you tomorrow.